Hello everyone, I am Funkus and I am going to take you through our Blade Lord Tyak heroic kill in 10-man that we accomplished on opening night in Heart of Fear. This was the only heroic that we could get down this week. We are a heroic progression guild and I am playing the Brewmaster. We are currently 6 out of 6 heroic in Mogushan Vaults. If that gives you any idea of what kind of guild we are that could potentially take down Blade Lord Tyak. But I will say, if you're looking for a heroic kill on week 1, from our experience, this is the guy. This is the one you want to give it a shot on. We actually managed to one-shot the heroic kill on Blade Lord Tyak, which was probably, I think it's the only boss that we've ever one-shot in heroic. Between Mogushan Vaults and Heart of Fear. So, Blade Lord Tyak has one big tank swap mechanic, and that's Overwhelming Assault. I am using PoV weak auras in this video. I would recommend them to you as well. It's kind of like your own little personal shot caller. What we're doing is we're going to start the fight. We're going to have our ranged spread around the edges, and we are going to move counterclockwise around his room and try to keep this middle area clear. So this middle area right here, this little alley, so to speak, we're going to try to keep that clear of tornadoes. So our range DPS is going to be on the perimeter of the room, but not stacked because Blade Lord Tyak does have an ability that will do damage to a ranged DPS and anyone within, I think, 8 yards around him. It's called Wind Step. So your ranged have to be spread out, and they should be around the perimeter of the room so that you can bait the tornadoes from Tempest Slash to the outer edges of the room. And as you can see here, when we get the fight going, we will be doing that. I'm going to move ahead a little bit so we can get started on this. Here we go. Looks like we're going pretty soon. We're eating our banquet. Yeah, I had an agility flask on here, and I just used feast food because we are just using feast food in our guild for progression to just take a look at the boss before spending more gold on the actual agility, 300 agility food, which we would do as well, which we do as well when we think a kill is close. We didn't know that we were going to be one-shotting Blade Lord Tyak here. So I have stamina food instead of agility food. I would go agility food. He honestly doesn't hit that hard, if I'm being honest with you. So yeah, it's not, I would go full DPS here as a tank, as much as you can. I wouldn't do any, as a Brewmaster especially, I wouldn't do any mitigation trinkets. I wouldn't do stamina flask or stamina food if, because he doesn't really hit that hard. So I got one overwhelming strike taken and overwhelming assault, excuse me, and now my off tank took it off of me. And there is the tornado going into our ranged. We also have an unseen strike coming that we're stacking for. And as you can see here, it did some damage, but it wasn't an overwhelming amount. It wasn't an overwhelming amount of damage, and we didn't even get our barrier off, I don't believe. So, yeah, it's not too scary if you guys are good at stacking. And that was the wind step that he did on the ranged as well. He teleports to them and teleports back. You don't need to chase him as a tank. He will come right back to you. This is Blade Tempest. This is his heroic ability, Blade Tempest, where he tries to pull you in and do lots of damage to you. We have a druid in our group, so we were able to do Stampeding Roar on the first one. On the second one, we used our personal movement speed abilities, whether that's engineering, roll for monk, blink for mage. I feel like most classes have an ability where they a movement ability that they could use there. And then on the third Blade Tempest, we did use Stampeding Roar again. So here we are using Barrier here, and look at the damage. We actually stacked Smoke Bomb as well, because that was the time that we should have used Smoke Bomb. The damage is not that high. It's not that scary. So, yeah. But you have to stack, though. You have to stack, though, or you will die. And make sure when you do stack, you're not going to get pushed into tornadoes. Also, we did not do it here because it was our first attempt, and we must have forgotten about it. But the recommendation is that you lust after the first Unseen Strike, and that gives you plenty of time to DPS pretty freely. To be honest with you. There's our other Blade Tempest. We're having our range spread out as much as they can without going to the middle. We do have some tornadoes here that are close to the middle. Again, this was the first attempt, and the fact that we got it down on the first attempt was kind of surprising to all of us. We expected to have to give it a little, maybe a few more attempts. We knew that this boss was gonna be one of the easier ones in Heart of Fear, but we didn't realize how easy it was. For us, for 10-man, we also progged on Zorlok a little bit just to see what that looked like. We also progged on Garelon a little bit, heroic, just to see what that looked like. And we also progged on Wind Lord Meljarak a little bit to see what that looked like. And we could not get the kill on any of the other ones, although I would say the next easiest for us is probably going to be Wind Lord. Is probably going to be our second heroic kill next week, hopefully. And then potentially Garelon after that, and Zorlok after that, and then Amber Shaper and Empress seem to be potentially out of reach for us at the time. I think we just need to see more of the fight. I think we just need to see the fight more as a group. So there we go. We stacked again on Unseen Strike. Doesn't seem like a huge mechanic for us. And honestly, the fact that Unseen Strike is in normal too, to me, Unseen Strike seems like the hardest out of all of them. So the fact that that's in normal and in heroic, I would just say, just try it on heroic if you have any desire to do that, because the heroic Blade Lord Tayak was not that difficult. So he's going to phase soon. He's going to phase, and we have to run to the other side of the room while dodging tornadoes here. I believe he phases at 20%. He brings us all in, and we are sent back to the other side of the room, and we have to dodge the tornadoes. These tornadoes are pretty tightly stacked, so it's not super easy to dodge them. If you have another Stampeding Roar, if you have NG boots here, then I would try to use those if you can. Because these tornadoes kind of suck. As you can see, some people move straight up ahead and they got hit by the tornadoes the tornadoes that he creates right next to him are especially deadly, because once they're created, you're gone. So be very, very careful when you get up to the boss, because there's a chance that you'll be sent back like halfway. Also in this phase, there's no one tanking him. There's no tank on this phase. He just spins and spins and spins and makes tornadoes. And he does do raid-wide damage, but otherwise he just spins and spins and spins. So our goal was to get him close to 10% and then try to move him back, and then try to use the edges to get back to the other side of the room, because at 10% he switches spots. And what my off-tank did here was really, really smart. My off-tank stayed behind and helped to DPS him down to 10%. So we didn't quite have enough firepower We didn't quite have enough firepower or DOTs to get him down. So what my off tank did was push him down himself, which is very, very smart. I would highly, highly recommend this. As you can see, I was right under him and I got caught in a tornado. So be careful with that. It's a little aggravating. And then this part is very funny. My priest tries to life grip me and I'm in a tornado again. So yeah, watch out for that one. Watch out for the life grips. Make sure you're pretty far back if you're trying to life grip your friends. And now I'm just being extremely cautious because I don't want to be sent back yet again. And we got him. So my suggestion for you, next time I think that we do this, me and the other tank, we're probably just going to stay at the end there and make sure that our raid and our healers get to his next spot at 10%. So I would say at 11 or 12%, just have your raid move over to the other end. Use these gusts that are just outside of the alleyway here to get there faster. That's all. Yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. Please like and subscribe if this content is helpful for you. You will see my content come up on your feed more often if you do like and subscribe. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.